Known as Percy Mate, and welcome back to round 10 of the Race as One Formula 1 League. Today we are at Silverstone. Good track, great track for Formula 1 racing. The heart of Formula 1, Silverstone. Everyone loves the track. Just on board with Brooksy now as he setting his lap, is he? I'm not too sure. We need to get all of the spectator menus up and running. Mini map and detail. There we go. So on board with Brooksy. Let's see, he's on the medium. We've got two drivers on the medium so far. BGR, I was just going to call him BGR, and Brooksy, both on the mediums. We've also got a couple of drivers, the rest of the drivers on the soft compounded tyres. So we'll stay on board with Brooksy here. Looks like a pretty decent lap so far. He's on the medium compound of tyres, don't forget, so he's probably not going to be the quickest out on track yet, but from what I know, Brooksy's a very quick driver. Or I do know Brooksy's a very quick driver. I think Brooksy's in lean and none. You can see his rear light on the back is flashing red. That means he's not using any overtake, and it's just to allow the other drivers behind him to know that he's going slowly, so that if it was in the race, he's harvesting his energy, and the drivers behind him would gain an advantage. So then, coming up to the quick right-hander and the final sector of the track. Now to the little chicane. It's not really a chicane, but it is a chicane. Well, it's just a little left-right, and then around the final corner, Brooksy's going to set a 1:29.9, so it's the slowest so far, but Brooksy was in lean and none, so he's just doing a little delta lap. Most drivers probably going to want to do the soft to medium strategy today. I think there's 26 laps around this track. You can probably do about 15 to 16 laps on mediums, and then about 10 to 12 on the softs, depending if you're saving the tyres or not. We'll just send the link out. I do have Tom in the party with me. Tom, are you there? Yeah, Tom was meant to be co-commentating with me today, but unfortunately he hasn't had an invite to this session, so he's not able to join and help me commentate, but that's okay. He can still be in the party with me. He'll watch the stream anyway, so anything I do miss, he'll be able to update me on. As we just share a link of the stream into the Discord. Right, well, who's anyone on the track yet? We've got Chartman on his lap on the soft compound tyres. Chartman, very quick driver. We'll see, coming up to the sector 2 split time now. It was a 1 minute 3.1 so far, so it's looking good. 28 now. Great onboard view. Codemaster's finally given us a nice camera. Riding the curbs ever so well. Coming up to the final corner now. And I was completely wrong. It was a 26.8. I don't know where I got 28 from, but it was a 26.8. Very good lap from Chartman. It sits him into P6. So then, Mirko. Coming up to Maggots and Beckett's now. The best complex of corners in Formula 1 by far. Once you hook the car up perfectly, there's no better feeling, especially when you're driving it. I mean, it's nice watching the cars go through Maggots and Beckett's as well, but driving it, it's just completely insane. As you can see again, Mirko using no energy, so he's light at the back slashing, so he's obviously just wanting to set a installation lap, just so he has a delta for when he wants to set his actual laps. Riding the curbs nicely, and across the final corner it's going to be a 1:27.028. So good banker lap there for Mirko. As we see the racing point of, I think that's Ginger Ninja. Yeah, that is. We've got any other drivers on lap times? We've got Mr. GFX Lad, or I call him Mr. Lad, had invalidated. Chartman's down on his lap. Mirko's just set his lap, so he's on his in lap. We've got Rawnosh gone a bit wide, and he's lost the back end, and he's just gonna hamper his race. I think he's lost a bit of wing, I'm not too sure. Come on, Codemasters, give me a nice view. Yeah, he's lost his the whole of his left end plate. You see his teammate coming through the left-hander now, and the Ferrari as well, so he's going to have to be careful rejoining the track. And is he going to block the Ferrari? No, he gets out of the way. Right, so looking for a driver who's on a lap. We've got Amaguna. Amaguna's a quick driver from the last race I commented on, or commentated on, sorry. He was up in the top 5, I think, if I can remember. Top 5, I think. We've also got Mr. Ladd on his lap, but he's invalidated. Got Brad Smith. He's up by 2 tenths at the moment. So looking like a good lap for Brad, if he can hook up Maggots and Beckett's. Gone a bit deep into the second part, but he's up by a tenth now, so he did lose a bit of time through Maggots and Beckett's, about half a tenth. Coming up now to the last part of the track, hooking it up nicely, just clipping the curb on the left, now clipping the apex on the right, and again for the best entry, and across the line is going to be a 26.5, so he improved by 4 tenths. It was a great last sector there by Brad Smith, improving by about 3 tenths, and it pushed him up to P6. Have we got any other drivers on track? Yeah, we've got BGR up by a couple of attempts at the moment, coming through Maggots and Beckett's again. Look how much downforce them cars have, just gripping to the track. Purple through sector 2 for BGR, he's up by 7 tenths. So it's looking like it's going to be a very quick lap for him. As we're coming up now to the final part of the track, going to the left and right hander, clipping the apexes very nicely, running along the curb for the best entry into the final corner. It's going to be a 26.0, up by 1.1 seconds for BGR, and it's putting me in P5, so another good lap. We've got anyone else on the lap? We've got Brooksy. He's 1.5 seconds up on his lap. Brooksy's gone purple as well. Well, Brooksy's 3.1 seconds up. So this is going to be an extraordinary lap for Brooksy if he can just hold it together coming through the last part of the track. Purple through sector 2 he was. So now coming to the last part of the track, the little left to right hander, clipping the curbs nicely. Just missed the curb on the left, but it's not really going to hamper him that much time. He's gone P3 for Brooksy. It's a 25.4. Very good lap time there by Brooksy. Looks a bit scruffy through the last sector, but yeah, good enough to put in P3 at the moment. About 4 tenths, sorry, off the pole time of Tricker, which is a 1:25.0. So we'll actually stay on board now with Tricker. We'll watch his lap as he has set the pole time so far. He is on provisional pole with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. So I will mute myself. Tom, if you can mute yourself as well, and we'll just ride on board with Tricker. We'll get the pure engine sounds. So here we go. Across the line, Tricker went 3 tenths quicker to set 24.7, so an excellent lap time from Tricker, the first driver in the 24s. It was a great lap from him. I don't think he's going to be able to improve on that lap either. Pushing the car to... He's going to have to get back to the pits, so I think that is qualifying over for Tricker anyway. I don't think he'll have enough time to get back to the pits and get out to set another lap. As you see, Amaguna 2 tenths up through the first sector. So we'll ride on board with him coming up to Maggots and Beckett's now. This is probably going to be his last lap of the session as well. Very nice through Maggots and Beckett's. It's a bit scruffy through the final part. Still 2 tenths up, so I don't think he's going to be able to beat Tricker's time. But it'll be interesting to see if he can create a bigger gap between him and the cars behind him, especially Brooksy's. Brooksy's only 2 thousandths behind. Coming up to the final part of the track then. Oh, and he's run a bit deep into the left-hander. That's hampered his exit. And he's lost the back end and he's gone across the grass. And I think that's going to be qualifying over for Amaguna. As he's driving backwards, which is probably going to disqualify him. Yep, there we go, disqualified. So Amaguna's going to be starting last, unfortunately. So, yeah, shouldn't really be driving backwards there. You're always going to try and flick the car around before... So yeah, it does put him 14th. So it does push Brooksy up to P2 and all the drivers behind. We've also got Raw, who's not set a lap yet, and he has invalidated his lap he's on at the moment. So we'll actually ride on board with Brooksy. No, we won't ride on board with Brooksy yet. We've got any other drivers close to finishing the lap? We've got Swansea Boys invalidated. I'm trying to see Brad Smith. Brad Smith's down in his time. Chartman's coming to start his lap. Yeah, Mirko. Mirko, he's just coming up to Maggots and Beckett's. So he was up on his lap by a 10th. It's good enough to maybe put him about P8. Yeah, P8. As you see, Cool Sign and Mr. Ladd have both retired now in the pit lane. So Mirko through Maggots and Beckett's. Very nice through there. And he's up by 4 tenths. So this might be good enough to actually move him up to P7 and jump Brad. So we'll have a look now. I think Brad is coming up to finish his lap. Yeah, he is. So Brad's coming across the final corner now. Brad is going to set... So Brad sets a 126.4. He does go quicker. And Mirko, is he going to be able to beat a 126.4? Oh, he does just pip. He just pips Brad. And we'll quickly hop on board with Brooksy. So Brooksy, let's see if he can get his car on pole position. Now I'd like to say Brooksy is my favourite to get pole position, and he's invalidated. And where's Brooksy going? Brooksy has flipped his car. Brooksy has flipped his car. Brooksy has, I will repeat that, Brooksy has flipped his car. And that is a really funny camera angle I have. It's not best sportsmanship from Brooksy, crashing on purpose because he's invalidated, but that is funny. You have to give him praise for that. But we will ride on board with Marcus now, as I've just seen Raw has managed to get up into P3. So let's see Marcus as he comes across the sector 2 split time now. He's up by, so he may be able to jump Raw and Brooksy. Well, yeah, he's definitely gonna. You see Brooksy there putting laughing face in the chat. It was a funny... We don't like to see that. Crashing on purpose. I mean, it was nowhere near the track, so it's fine, but... Yeah, we don't like to see that. As Marcus is going to come across the line and he's going to jump up to P2. So, another great lap from Marcus, the championship leader. So, I think that's qualifying over now for most of the drivers. We've still got Chucker Brothers on his lap. Let's see what Chucker Brothers can do. Brooks' teammate in the other Mercedes. I don't think Chucker Brothers is going to be able to move up any positions, is he? Oh, he does. My bad, he does. He jumps from P7 to P5. So it's a good result there for the Mercedes boys. Third and fifth. And the last man on track is Chartman. Let's see, he's up by 3 tenths. So he may be able to push himself up to P8. We'll have a look coming through the final sector now. He's gone a bit deep into the right-hander. And he has invalidated his lap time. So that is unlucky for Chartman as well. So, final grid then. for the We Racers 1 Formula 1 League Round 10 Silverstone Grand Prix. On pole we have the Red Bull driver of Tricker. We can't ride on board with him because he's retired at the moment. In P2 we have Short Marcus, the championship leader. In P3 we have Brooksy. Was my favourite to get pole, but he did crash. But I think Brooksy is running a wet setup because apparently he's yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true. As I was saying, yeah, the grid. We'll have to wait for Codemasters to hurry up and load now because it has taken the grid away from me, unfortunately. Okay, so here we go. On pole we have Tricker, who was a class act today in qualifying, almost 4 tenths quicker than Marcus, the championship leader. And then we've got obviously Marcus in P2. Brooksy had a giant crash, flipped his car in P3. Raw in P4, Chuckle Brothers P5, BGR 6th, Mr. Ladd 7th, Mirko 8th, Brad Smith 9th, and Chartman rounding off our top 10. So, going into the race, Tom, what are you expecting? Yeah, it would be nice to see. Well, it wouldn't be nice to see crashes, but for us, to spice the race up and everything, it will be nice to see a bit of close racing. And it is raining again, so the last race I did commentate on at Canada, it did rain. It was dry for quali and it rained, and unfortunately James' controller died and he crashed and everything, so it's always shit's going on for James. But yeah, James, stop laughing. Don't need you yet for your interview, because you know you are going to crash 100%. James is going to crash and he's going to interview after he's crashed, and we don't hope that on anyone. We don't hope anyone crashes. Doing my head now as we wait for the drivers to sort out their strategies. Tom, what do you think? Is it a one stop, intermediate to intermediate? Yeah, one stop. James, can I get your opinions as you are our driver in the
One stop.
One stop, okay. Well then, 5 lights, and I don't think the lights are actually going to go out yet. And oh, they are, they're out, and away we go. And it looks like it was a good start from the majority of the field. Bit of contact at the back, and the Renault, Raw's gone spinning. What's happened there? Raw has gone spinning. A bit of contact, and the Ferrari of Mirko as well. So I think that was someone's wing went flying off. I'm not too sure. And these yellow flags, but there's no safety car yet. So Tricker, you see, he's maintained his lead at the front. We've still got Brooksy right behind him though. Let's see if Brooksy's going to make a move. No, Brooksy's just going to maintain P2 at the moment. So it looks like it was a good start from Brooksy, jumping Marcus. Marcus not having the best of starts, dropped down a bit, and he's fighting with Mr. Ladd now. So let's see if Mr. Ladd can get Marcus coming down to the left-hander now, right on the gearbox. Let's see if he can do anything. No, nothing can be done there. He's gone a bit wide there, Mr. Ladd. We'll ride on board with Brooksy then. We'll see if he can make a move on Tricker. Lost a bit of time through Maggots and Beckett's, but still going to have that slipstream, so he's going to be quicker in the straights and he's not going to have to use that much energy. But we do know that cars don't have to use that much energy in the wet because they do harvest quicker. As we've got yellow flags at the back, and that is the Ferrari of Mirko. So what's happened here, as you see, the predicted pit stop strategy is a one stop, inters to inters. We've got a bit of movement at the back, as you see. Chucker Brothers into the pits he goes, so he must be the car with damage then. We've got Brooksy. Oh, and the race leader Tricker's gone. He's gone. He's dropped it, Tom, and so has Mr. Ladd as well. So 2 drivers both dropping it at turn 1 after the Lewis Hamilton straight. So that's promoted Brooksy up into the lead. So both these drivers now going to have to be careful rejoining back onto the track. But yeah, I managed to get a perfect view of that.
Composure, man.
Yeah, a bit of team radio there between Brooksy and Chuckle Brothers. Composure, that's what he needs, composure. But yeah, a big crash for the race leader there, Tricker. So that's put Brooksy into the lead, and Brooksy can control this race now. So it's going to be interesting. The favourite after qualifying, Tricker, has unfortunately lost his wing, and he's going to have to pit. We'll ride on board. Yeah, he's completely lost his left end plate, so that's going to have to be a pit stop, and that's going to play right into the hands of Brooksy and Marcus. So Tom, have you seen that crash yet?
Yeah, that was quick. Easy to blame himself after that.
Yeah.
On the lead.
And we've also got... Is that Amaguna? Amaguna's spun as well. He's lost it through Maggots and Beckett. So at the moment it's really hectic. Has he got any damage? No. Amaguna's lucky to get no damage. But yeah, at the moment it's looking very hectic. Like you said, Tom, you want a hectic Grand Prix, and here it is. We've got a couple of drivers at the back with damage, going really slowly. But other than that, and Amaguna spun again. And so has Swansea Boy. So I wonder if there's been contact. I'm not too sure. Swansea Boy's he got damage? I don't know. The game's not going to give me a POV, is it? No, but... And a spinner on the straight as well. Ginger Ninja spun on the straight as well. So everyone's spinning. These conditions are really tricky for these drivers. I don't know what's going on here. Qualifying looked great for these drivers, and now a bit of tricky conditions in the wet, and they're all going downhill. We'll just see the the positions gained. Chartman at the moment had a flyer, moving up from P10 to P4. So yeah, it's a great start from him. We've got Rambo, who's got penalties. Let's see, he's got a 3 second. Yeah. So at the moment, it's looking good for Brooksy. I don't know why my leaderboard is not showing me the gaps between the top 10. I don't know why that is. Hello game, are you going to fix up? Obviously not. So we're not going to be able to see the gaps between the top 10, which is a shame because I like to see the battling. But we just see Raw there getting past Ginger Ninja. I think Ginger Ninja's probably got a bit of damage, bit of worn tyres, because he did have that spin on the Lewis Hamilton straight. We've also got Swansea Boy and Amaguna. Swansea Boy completely cutting Maggots and Beckett's, which is going to allow Amaguna to have the run on him on the exit. Let's see what Amaguna can do. That's hard to say, as yeah, you see him getting past Swansea Boy there, and we finally see the intervals fixing up. See Ginger Ninja, yeah, going into the pit. So then, the battle for the lead. Let's have a look. Brooksy and Marcus, both drivers, very good drivers from what I know. I know more about Brooksy than Marcus, but Marcus is our championship leader. 7 tenths separate these drivers, Tom. Do you reckon a couple scraps might happen along the way?
I hope so. Brooksy's the leader. Leading comfortably from
Yeah, we see the gap just decreasing to about 3 tenths now. Brooksy had a bit of a moment. We've got another spinner, maybe, is it? A yellow flag through sector 1 now. We'll just ride on board now with Marcus. We'll see the gearbox of Brooksy. See, Marcus is on 66% overtake, as Brooksy is on 80. So Brooksy harvesting a lot more. As you see, Marcus, is he going to make a move? No, he's not. Coming up to the final couple of corners now. He's just going to bide his time. Maybe he's thinking Brooksy's making a few mistakes there and then. Maybe he's going to wait for another big mistake from Brooksy, then pounce. So Tom, have you allowed your voice to be heard in the stream? Because people are saying they can't hear you.
I don't know, how do I...
Just go to the party settings and it should say allow voice to be broadcasted, or allow voice to be shared, or something like that. We'll just ride on board with this battle for the lead. As you see, Tricker's out! Tricker's out! The race! The pole, man! Tricker's out! And a safety car! So there's a full yellow. Safety car, so Tricker's gone. He's dropped it through Maggots and Beckett's. Tom, you need to turn your mic up apparently. They can hear you, but you're very quiet. So we'll just ride on board now with Mr. Ladd. Let's see if we do get a view of Tricker's car. Yeah, so he's just lost it coming through the second part of Maggots and Beckett's. That's unfortunate for Tricker. Looking very good. And Mr. Ladd as well has just completely dropped it. I don't know what Mr. Ladd's doing here. This is just not nice. Mr. Ladd, come on. What is the need? He's just dropped it on purpose. Well, I don't know if it was on purpose, but he's crashed his car on purpose. That's all I know. But yeah, we'll ride on board with Brooksy now. Safety car is out, waiting for the leaders on the main straight. But yeah, Tom, what do you think of that safety car?
That's definitely spicy. Wow. I don't think it's gonna affect strategy a lot, but that's definitely gonna bump people up a lot.
That is true, that is true. And I just want to get some information about the race. So Brooksy, could you tell us how long is left of this rain?
There's loads of rain left still.
Okay, so loads of rain left still, says our race leader Brooksy. This is going to be actually pretty good for us, Tom. The safety car is going to bunch the field back up. They were a bit separated. It's going to allow drivers like Mirko and Ginger Ninja to get back into the field. As you see, Brooksy and Marcus exchanging positions on the safety car.
He's trying to overtake me into the safety car. What's he doing?
Team radio from Brooksy trying to overtake me on the safety car. What's he doing? Netflix are going to have Netflix are going to love that. Drive to Survive. Short Marcus on...
Stupid guy! Stupid guy! What are you doing? Stupid guy!
Okay, Brooksy, thank you for that. But yeah, Netflix, they're going to love that. The driver's going to be parking up on the grid and you can have Brooksy. He's trying to overtake me, he's trying to overtake me. The cars ain't even gone yet. That's what Netflix are like. The cars aren't even gone yet. And they're saying he's trying to overtake you. That is,
We'll have a field day with that.
yeah, they are.
I've got a feeling we're gonna have for podium here.
Yeah. It just unplugged itself for some reason. Yeah, what was you saying, Tom?
I think we're on for a Chartman podium here.
Chartman, yeah, he has got the pace. Just has he got the consistency? That's the problem with Chartman. Of the one race I did spectate, Canada, he had the pace in qualifying, but then he did drop down in the race, so it's a bit of a shame. Consistency is key. You see Raw going into the pits. Put a fresh set of inters on, fresh set of rubber. But yeah, so it's been a good start then for Brooksy. So he had that big crash in quali and he flicked his car. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it's also been a great start for Amaguna and Chartman, both moving up 7 and 6 positions. Safety car, I think the safety car is actually going to help Marcus out than anyone, because I know Marcus is stayed in second position, but he did look like he was dropping back from Brooksy just before the safety car. But now the safety car's closed the field back up. And I just would like to say, Brooksy, I do like your helmet very much.
Thank you, my
So
friend.
you've taken
Very nice.
inspiration from Lewis Hamilton with the purple. Well, yeah, we see Ginger Ninja getting a 3-second penalty under the safety car. Wonder what that's for. Yeah. In this lap, if Mirko hurries up and gets at the back of the pack, From this point on, Tom, you got any predictions? Top three?
Simply, it should be Brooksy, Marcus, and Chandler. Although I do think after seeing how Marcus will rise up, I don't feel like he's going to get
Yeah, I'm feeling the same about that really. Marcus may get a good restart on Brooksy. We'll have to ride on board with Marcus. As you see, yeah, race control safety car is in this lap. So the drivers are going to want to start weaving now, get heat, as much heat as they can into these intermediate tyres. They don't heat up as quick as they can do the inters. As you see, 5-second penalties for the racing point of Amaguna and the Mercedes of Chuckle Brothers. Bit of a shame there, bit of contact under the safety car. As you see, Brooksy faking to go, then stopping, still wanting to get as much heat into his tyres as he can. As you see, now Brooksy has gone and he has gapped Marcus by around
man!
6 tenths. And Brooksy is, we can hear
Sorry,
Brooksy.
I haven't muted myself.
Yeah, he hasn't muted himself. But yeah, it was a good start. We'll ride on board with all the drivers now. As you see, yellow flags, Chuckle Brothers into the pits. Oh, what a nice shot that was, Codemasters. Let all the drivers come through. That was very nice. You see Marcus now closing the gap between him and Brooksy again, back up to about 6 tenths, 7 tenths. It's between that margin. Mirko, another 3-second time penalty for him. So, a great restart again for Brooksy. The gap's still about the same, 7 tenths. Not really any battles going on apart from this battle for the lead. We do have Rambo trying to get past Brad, but nothing's been done there. Let's see Rambo now. Does he get a good exit? No. He loses a bit of time there, so bit of a showing up for Rambo. But Ninja, on the other hand, is right on the back of Swansea Boy. So let's see, can Ninja get Swansea Boy coming up to Maggots and Beckett's, keeping it between track limits. And that right-hander is a pain in the wets because you are going to go wide all the time and get warnings and then penalties. But yeah, we'll see Ninja now very quick through Maggots and Beckett's, using his overtake, looking to make a move on Swansea Boy, and he does get past Swansea Boy. I think Swansea Boy may have a bit of damage to one of his end plates. Did look like it. No, he doesn't. So it's just pure skill then from Ninja to get past Swansea Boy. So yeah, that was a great little overtake there from Ninja. As you see, now Marcus is within that 5-tenth window of Brooksy. Marcus did set the fastest lap, but he did use quite a lot of his overtake, but so did Brooksy. Both of them on 83%, so both of them sharing the same amount of energy. Let's see what's going to happen down this. No, this isn't Lewis Hamilton Straight, is it? Can't remember the name of this straight. But let's see, can Marcus make a move? Tom, what do you reckon? On board with Marcus, getting into the T-cam or the TV pod camera. Now changing back to the broadcast. Looking good, looking good. Very quick for the right-hander. Now then, let's see, through Maggots and Beckett's. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, Marcus gaining quickly. Brooksy's gone a bit wide there, and that's allowed Marcus right on the back of Brooksy's gearbox. Marcus using all of his overtake. Let's see, Brooksy defending to the inside. Marcus going to try to go round the outside. And is he going to get it done? Leaving enough space for both drivers. Brooksy, is he going to send one? Brooksy's going to send it. Brooksy's going to send it. Marcus just closed the door on Brooksy there. ERS, so Marcus has got no ERS. Brooksy, is he going to want to make a move? No, Brooksy's just going to hold back. And Brooksy's got a much better run for the exit of the Lewis Hamilton Straight. And up the inside, is Brooksy going to get the move done? He is. Marcus going to try for the little switcheroo. He's not able to get it done, so great overtake and a great battle in between these two drivers. So Marcus again looking maybe to make a move on Brooksy, and Marcus has gone very deep. So that's going to hamper his run into Cops. Let's see, Marcus gone a bit wide, losing the back end, and that's just allowed Brooksy to pull out a little gap again. He was right on board now with Mirko, right in the back of Swansea Boy. Swansea Boy has been dropping back these last couple of laps. Does say he has moved up 3 positions, but I think, contact, and Mirko does well to keep the car on the track. So there was a bit of contact between both drivers in, but Mirko does keep it on track. Look at it.
Was a bit scrappy.
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy, as you see. Brooksy is still about 6/10 ahead now of Marcus, so Brooksy's been able to pull the gap after that massive battle they had. It was a great battle between the both drivers. Best battle I've ever commentated on, personally, I would say. But yeah, you see Mirko right in the back of Swansea Boy again on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, using all of his overtake. Swansea Boy not got a lot of overtake left, a bit of contact, wheel banging. Mirko does make the move stick, and Swansea Boy has gone very wide and very deep into the right hander, so he's going to pull into the pits, maybe stick a fresh set of rubber on and go to the end of the race. So far after lap 11, our grid is looking pretty much the same after the safety car. Got a few drivers like Amaguna moving up a couple of positions, Chuckle Brothers pitting, Swansea Boy pitting as well. But it's looking good so far for Brooksy and Marcus, who've both already pulled around a 6-second gap between the cars behind them. So both the drivers using the slipstream and the ERS that they both have to their advantage. Marcus around the 70% ERS range. He's now going to see if he can make a move on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. He did close the gap between him and Brooksy. He's using all his overtake. Brooksy's not using any overtake. Brooksy does have about 10% or 20% more than Marcus at this stage of the race. But as I was saying earlier, we know how quick it is. We know how quick saving the RS is in the wet. As you see Marcus almost running into the back of Brooksy there, locking the tyres. As you see Raw now on the back of Ginger Ninja. Ginger Ninja's been dropping back from Amaguna, as you see Rambo just pulling into the pits for a fresh set of inters. So far we've only had the 2 retirements, Mr. Ladd and Tricker, both drivers crashing out at Maggots and Beckett's. But yeah, there's not really that many battles going on track. So we've got Mirko who's just managed to jump Cool Sign Rambo in the pits, but other than that, excuse me, not really many battles. Brooksy has managed to increase the gap between himself and Marcus to over a second now. So Marcus may be making a mistake into Cops, not too sure. But I'm just going to check the race director to have a look at drivers' warnings. So Brooksy has 2 warnings. Marcus has the 1 warning.
I got a penalty.
Oh, Team Radio, Brooksy has a penalty. So Brooksy, I think I just jinxed him there, gave him the commentator's curse. Yeah, we're just going to have to see if Marcus will get a penalty now. Marcus is on the 1 warning, so still could get a penalty. But I do wonder what lap these drivers are going to pit. Is Brooksy going to try and do the overcut or the undercut? Is Marcus going to try and do the undercut? We'll have to find out. But I think the pit window does open this lap for all the drivers. So yeah, I was correct. Pit window opens this lap. I wouldn't be surprised though if you see drivers hopping into the pits around lap 15, 16 because of the safety car. It does allow them to go a bit longer. But around Silverstone in the wet, the undercut is very powerful, so you'd like to see a couple of drivers maybe trying to go for the undercut, as Amaguna is in the pit, so Amaguna looking to do the undercut. We want to see who does the undercut or who pits first between the 2 leaders. So, Brooksy, could you give us some information about your tyre wear? What's it looking like?
0%.
0% tyre wear?
Yeah.
Eyes are gone.
So Brooksy's saying he has 0% tyre wear. I don't think that's true, but maybe it's glitched, I'm not too sure.
28%.
28% for Brooksy, so he can maybe go to the end on them tyres. You don't have to do a pit stop in the wets, so yeah, Brooksy could go to the end on those inters, but at the end of the race, everyone behind him is going to be a lot quicker. Let's see, does Brooksy do the undercut or does Marcus do the undercut? Marcus going a bit deep into the right-hander. He does square the corner off though, and Brooksy is going to do the undercut. So that's put Marcus in a bit of fresh air. But yeah, Brooksy, as me and Tom were just saying, undercut is very powerful and Brooksy's going to take that gamble. I think that's going to bring Brooksy out to about P5, so... Or no, Brooksy's going to P3, I think. Bit glitch there, the pit lane was. Same Brooksy hadn't gone. So yeah, Brooksy's probably going to come out in P3.
P4.
Couple of drivers also doing the undercut as well, but yeah, let's see. We'll ride on board now with Marcus. Marcus is pushing, using all his overtake. I think Brooksy's probably going to have to do the same, use all his overtake, push as much as he can, but we will ride on board with Marcus. Let's see if his in lap is good, if he is going to pit this lap. And we've also don't do up a little bit, not too sure. We'll just see race director again, because did look like, no, I was going to say did look like Marcus went a bit wide there, but the game has let him off. So then the gap between Brooksy and Marcus is 24.9 seconds. Pit stop around Britain is around 27 seconds, so it does look like Brooksy has or is going to make the undercut work. It's just, is Brooksy going to get held up by Raw? So Marcus is in the pits this lap. Marcus has gone into the pits this lap. A bit slow into the pit box, but not risking it for a 5-second penalty. But yeah, 27 seconds for a pit stop around Silverstone. So Brooksy might jump Marcus by quite a lot. We'll ride on board with Brooksy now, looking to get past Raw, as Chartman does take the lead of the Grand Prix. Chartman not pitting yet. Chartman is the only driver on track who hasn't pitted. Raw's getting a bit loosey-goosey there. And Brooksy does set the quickest final sector, and Brooksy does make the undercut work. So yeah, as I said, undercut very, very powerful. Brooksy struggling to get past the Renault of Raw. And Brooksy's going to have a lot hotter tyres compared to Marcus as well. So Brooksy's going to be a lot quicker through this stage of the race. But at the end of the race, Marcus is going to have a lot fresher and quicker tyres. So Brooksy does make his way finally past Raw. You see, now Marcus is going to have to try and get past. And Brooksy has increased the gap. I don't know why it's not letting me. Between him and Marcus.
3 seconds it says.
Yeah, 3 seconds. So I was correct. Yeah, Brooksy. Undercut has worked. Tom, the undercut. We knew it would work.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Experience, bro.
Experience, yeah. Great racecraft from Brooksy. But yeah, now on board with Marcus, using as much overtake as he can to try and close that gap between himself and Brooksy. He has run wide again. Does keep the car within the limits. As we see, Chartman's still not pit yet. So I wonder whether Chartman's going to try and go to the end. Like, he hasn't pit yet. He doesn't have to pit because it's in the wet, and you don't have to do a mandatory pit stop in the wet like you have to in the dry. But his tyres will be fried at the end. As you see, Marcus really closing up the gap between himself and Nosh now. So let's see, Nosh defending. Marcus getting a switch back, and Nosh just lets him through. So good sportsmanship there from Nosh, knowing he's on the slower tyres. And there's been is that a safety car or yellow
No.
flags? Ginger Ninja's out, so Ginger Ninja's lost it through Maggots and Beckett's, where Tricker lost it, and Ginger Ninja, I don't know, can't say his name. Ginger Ninja is out, unfortunately, so that's race over for him. Safety car would have maybe screwed up Brooksy's race because of the 3-second penalty. Brooksy does have a 3-second gap now between himself and Marcus, so it's just whether Brooksy can maintain that gap.
Oh, you bastard.
As there is a virtual safety car. So this is going to play right into the hands of Chartman. So Chartman... So yeah, Chartman...
Fucking legend.
Chartman, by staying out, has actually managed...
He could win this.
...to pit under a safety car. So he will gain... No, he's staying out. He's staying out.
What an idiot.
Rookie mistake there, Chartman. You could have gained about 15 seconds under the VSC by pitting.
But that probably means he's going to go to the end.
Yeah, that does suggest he's going to go to the end. He's risking it. He's on the 17 lap of tyres. As you see, Mirko getting a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, and no one else. I thought someone else did, but yeah, no one else did. A couple drivers now into the pits for another fresh set of rubber. But Marcus has closed the gap between himself and Brooksy. Oh, Marcus has gone wide! Marcus has gone wide! Marcus went off the track.
Fucking ear.
So Marcus went wide. I can't speak. Marcus went wide just before the straight, and that has allowed Brooksy to gain about a second. So the pressure's getting to Marcus now. Starting to drop the car, starting to make a few mistakes. At the moment,
His championship to lose.
Yeah, that's correct. It is his championship to lose. So at the moment, though, Chartman is leading the Grand Prix. 16 lap old tyres. I don't think... Well, he will be able to go on to the end, but he won't win the race if he tries to go to the end, because Brooksy is only 4.5 seconds behind, and Brooksy has 18 lap fresher tyre. No, 14 lap fresher tyres, sorry. So, I do think Chartman should have pit under that VSC. If he goes into the pits now, then I'll be furious. No, he doesn't. So, yeah, the gap is now about 3 seconds between Marcus and Brooksy, and the same between Brooksy and Chartman. Unfortunately, though, Brooksy does have a 3-second penalty, so if he wants to win this race, he's going to have to create a 3-second gap to the car in second. There's not really any more battles going on track. We've got Brad, see yellow flag. So who's that? Swansea Boy's DNF'd as well. So Swansea Boy is out. Swansea Boy retiring on track. But yeah, Brad right on the gearbox of Mirko. Let's see, does he make a move? No, he doesn't. He rounds up the corner nicely though. He's got a good exit. And is he going to make a dive? No, he doesn't. He doesn't send it. He doesn't lick the stamp and send it, no. But yeah, as you say, this battle for the lead, then. Brooksy. 2 seconds between Chartman and Brooksy now. Marcus.
He's going to hold me up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've just realised.
Teammate.
Teammates. So maybe this is a bit of strategy going on here. Chartman staying out to try and hold Brooksy up. I don't think Chartman will be able to hold Brooksy up though. Brooksy's a bit too quick for Chartman. Look how much he gains as well through Maggots and Beckett's. If Brooksy manages to get a decent exit through here, yeah, there's no point using his ERS. Chartman's got 95%. Marcus using all his ERS though. Marcus into the 40%.
Trying to get within that 3-second gap.
Yeah. So Brooksy now around 5 tenths behind Chartman. If Brooksy does manage to get a good exit through the final corner, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him go for a lunge up the inside on the exit of the Hamilton straight, but it doesn't look like he's close enough yet. Brooksy's going to have the fresh rubber to his advantage, and look at that, look how much he gains right on the back of Chartman now. Brooksy, does he send it? No, he doesn't. And Chartman's gone a bit deep. This is holding Brooksy up.
Oh, you bitch!
See Brooksy getting a bit frustrated there. And now Chartman, is he going to let Brooksy through?
Yeah, now he does a bitch.
So he's held Brooksy up loads. Let's see though, does he or does he not battle his teammate? It'll be interesting. This will be interesting. Is he going to let him through? Is he not going to let him through? As you see, call sign Rambo is out as well. He's dropped it in the final corner, just coming up to the pit lane. So it doesn't look like Chartman's letting his teammate through. And this is going to hamper Marcus more than it hampered James, or Brooksy, sorry, because Brooksy wasn't right on the gearbox of Chartman in Maggots and Beckett's, whereas Marcus is, and the dirty air is really going to affect his car. Now let's see, coming onto the hanger straight, does Chartman let him through?
Go on, son, keep battling him, son, keep battling him.
No, Chartman's going to battle. So both these drivers battling, and Marcus has completely sent one on his teammate, and he's got the move done. So the gap is now 1.8. So this race at the moment does look like it's in Marcus's hands. It is his race, and Chartman has gone into the pits.
Why would you pick now?
So yeah, Chartman making I don't want to like say anything about his strategies, but in my opinion, that is a bad strategy call. Like if he had a pit under the VSC, he would have gained 10 seconds. Because other drivers having to slow down, and when you're in the pit entry and exit, you don't have to, because that's technically not part of the racetrack. But still, Chartman's going to come out in P5, so I reckon Chartman's cost himself a podium there. Yeah, he has completely. So, riding on board now with Marcus. We'll see how many warnings Marcus has. Marcus still only has... Oh, Marcus does have the 2, so Marcus got one trying to overtake Chartman. So we'll have a look at Brooksy as well, how many warnings he has. He does have the 2. So Brooksy's going to have to keep it clean now.
2?
Yeah, Brooksy does have the 2 warnings.
That's fucking bullshit. I won't ride once.
And it says you got a penalty and a warning on the same lap.
That's bollocks. Fuck Codemaster shit down.
Yeah. So Brooksy, is he going to play fair? And if Marcus goes to the overtake, is he going to leave him room? Or is Brooksy going to be the unsportsmanlike driver and force him wide? There you go. Brooksy's going to take him out.
Nah, I'm not.
But yeah, is Brooksy... I wonder if he does get his elbows out and maybe force him wide a little. Force him off the track. Give him a penalty. Because as long as Brooksy's not completely pushing him off the track, then it's legal. Drivers can force other drivers wide. Exactly.
Nah, I'll be there.
And Brooksy's lagging a bit now, so I reckon Brooksy has got a bit of Wi-Fi issues because his car does look like it's disconnected from the race.
No, I'm still in it.
Just a chart, or Marcus is going to have to be careful because Brooksy's car does have the Alien X next to it, so you don't know where it is at the moment on track.
I'm still here. What's going on?
Let's see, Brooksy just keeping it in track limits. Car is glitching everywhere though. So is Marcus's, or no, not Marcus's. So then, 5 laps to go in this race, Tom. I think our top 2 is going to be Brooksy and Marcus, but which way round, do you reckon?
I really don't know. I'm hoping that Marcus can get a penalty to things out. And then hopefully Brooksy and Marcus can have a nice little scrap towards the finish.
Yeah, that would be good to see Marcus. Well, it won't be good to see him get a penalty because we like to see drivers keeping it clean. But it'll be interesting if he does get a penalty to see then. And Marcus, just as I said that, gets a penalty. Brooksy's lagging everywhere. I don't know what's happened to Brooksy.
You just shied down me off, you idiot.
and yellow flags in sector 3. I think Chartman had to burn. But did Brooksy get a penalty there? No. Okay. So Chartman is on 3 seconds as well as Brooksy. So that has made things spicy. So Tom, you were saying penalties for both drivers. It's going to be interesting now. Okay, lost communications with Tom again. Sky Sports, mate. This is like you. 5 tenths there, the gap between Marcus and Brooksy. Let's see. Brooksy has stopped lagging now, so I think it was just a little bit of a phase of his Wi-Fi going a bit spazzy. But Marcus on that, yeah, I can hear Brooksy. Marcus on the 60%, same as Brooksy, the overtake. Both drivers using it. Let's see. Marcus closing the gap. Still though.
When you screamed that you got a penalty, you put me off.
Commentators only scream when they get excited, and I'm excited because both drivers with a 3-second penalty now is going to spice things up. So just look at the fastest lap. At the moment, the fastest lap is Marcus with a 1:37.0, 2 tenths quicker than Brooksy. See Brad Smith, they're getting a 3-second penalty. But Marcus is on the 1 lap fresher tyres. Brooksy on the 8 lap old tyres, Marcus 7 laps. I don't think 1 lap is going to really hurt Brooksy that much. But we can't forget about Chartman, who is on those 2 lap young tyres, whereas Raw Nash in front of him is on 15 lap old tyres. So it's going to be spicy now from now until the end of the race. Does Brooksy maintain his lead? Does Marcus maybe gain and push Brooksy? I don't know what can happen really. Brooksy does look like he's stretched the gap to 8 tenths now. Both drivers on exactly the same ERS. See Marcus clipping the grass through Maggots and Beckett. Hampered him a bit. He's lost a bit of time using his overtake on about 40% now. So can't forget Chartman. So Chartman, 82% energy, no penalties, 2 lap new tyres, closing the gap between himself and Raw Nash. I reckon Chartman's on for a P4 here. 3 laps to go. You never know what could happen.
Be a safety car for that.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know with Codemasters and their bullshit. But yeah, unfortunately, we have had 5 retirements. Tricker, Mr. Lad, Ginger Ninja, Swansea Boy and Call Sign Rambo. A bit of a poor race for both Red Bulls retiring. Tricker on his debut. The pole position. Or the pole sitter, sorry, Tricker was, did look to get off to a great start, but then dropping it through Maggots and Beckett, so I bet Brooksy got a brilliant view of that. But yeah, the gap between the top 2 now is just around a second. Brooksy having more ERS than Marcus. Marcus using his now to see if he can gain on Brooksy, but not really managed to gain that much. Brooksy in the 60%, Marcus in the 40%. Marcus using all of his overtake now, so he's really deploying it, wanting to try and get within that 2 to 3 tenths window where a slipstream really helps in the wet. In the dry you want to be in the 7/10 window slipstream, but in the wet, because the cars aren't going as quick in the straights, you need to be closer to get that slipstream. Also there's no DRSs, so then 2 laps to go. Brooksy and Marcus, a battle for the lead. Marcus getting another warning there, so Marcus is now on. No, he didn't get a warning there. I don't know how he's completely cut turn 1, but
That's bollocks.
so yeah, both Marcus and Brooksy on the 3-second penalties. Marcus with the no warnings at the moment. Brooksy on the one warning. Let's see what can happen. It's going to be interesting from now until the end of the race.
He's gonna try and send it.
Yeah, Team Radio Brooksy. He's going to try and send it. So let's see. Brooksy is on how much overtake? 50%. Marcus on 40%. Using it all now. Trying to gain just before Maggots and Beckett's. This could hamper Marcus because he may go a bit deep into Maggots and Beckett's. As he kept the car, yeah, he slowed it down just enough. A bit of a loose back end there from Brooksy. And now Marcus in the slipstream. On the back of Brooksy. Marcus in the 20% ERS window. Does he send it? He sends
Joe
it.
just hit me like an idiot. He's just hit me. And he spun because he hit me.
And Marcus has spun.
What is he doing?
A bit of a
You can't just dive bomb from 400 metres away, mate. Come on.
So yeah, Brooksy there a bit unhappy with that move from Marcus. I was going to say it did look a bit risky from Marcus because he did pull out and go for the move just before the braking zone, and you got to remember the track is wet and you can't.
And plus, I'm already taking the corner. Come on, man.
Brooksy furious with Marcus. So final lap. Brooksy
Really
in the
furious because you done a silly fucking thing.
Well, yeah.
Potato head.
Final lap. Brooksy in the lead. Looks like it's his race to lose now. We'll ride on board with Brooksy. No other battles going on behind, so yeah, Brooksy's race to lose if he keeps it clean. Make sure he doesn't make any silly errors. I think he's gonna have this win in the bag. It'll be interesting to see what the stewards say about that incident between those drivers. From my point of view, and I know Brooksy's my mate, and I might seem biased, but from my point of view, it did seem like it was just a racing incident.
He sent it from 400 miles away, bro. Come on.
Yeah, Marcus didn't look like he really, at the start of that move, didn't look like he was going to do anything, but then he does send it. Brooksy did have the line. It is wet as well, you've got to remember.
Literally, and if you miss your braking point, he literally could have took both of us out the race then.
Yeah, that is true. He could have hampered both those races. Marcus is still going to get the P2 though, but yeah, we see Brooksy come across the line to win the Wii Races
Not even
one.
happy with the win.
Formula One Grand Prix at Silverstone. Marcus is going to cross the line and come second. As we see now, BGR is going to cross the line.
What was he doing, man? You just don't send it from that far.
And BGR is going to round off our podium. As we see, Raw's got a puncture.
How do you get a puncture?
So Raw Nosh has got a puncture.
Oh.
So Chartman's managed to get P4. Raw's doing a Hamilton at the moment. Let's see, does Amaguna jump Raw because of the puncture? Let's see, penalties applied. Yeah, Amaguna manages to get P5 in the end, so good result for him after disqualifying in qualifying. Chuckle Brothers, let's see, no penalties applied to him. Across the line he finishes 7th. And then Mirko, the final driver, is coming through Maggots and Beckett's now, is going to round off the grid in P9. So, Brooksy, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's alright with you.
No.
Okay,
Of course it is.
Okay, qualifying. You looked on for pole position. You were my favourite for pole. You were about 3-4 tenths up in sector 1. Sector 2, what happened?
So when you use a wet setup, you lose. Like I had a wet setup from the start, so I wasn't bound to get pole anyway.
And the crash, what happened there? I saw you. What's it called? The crash in qualifying. I saw you. You invalidated, and then what happened?
My controller died.
Yeah, sure it did.
No,
anyway,
joking. I just couldn't be asked.
He's gonna be asked. That's what they all say. Anyway, the race start. You had a good start. Jumped Marcus by the looks of it. Tricker spinning it on turn 1. What was your thoughts when you came out in the lead?
Nah, I'm joking. I don't know, to be fair, I wasn't really paying attention to what happened. I was more worried about putting my fuel mixture into lean, and then I saw like Tricker just go meow, and he
Yeah.
just went off into turn one.
And
Just didn't have the composure.
yeah, my final question is undercut. Me and Tom were
mate, I
saying
swung
it was powerful around this track, and then did you get held up by Raw or?
Nah, he pretty much let me burn the straight after the Lewis Hamilton straight.
Okay.
Just before sector 1.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on your win. Also, I'd like to congratulate Amaguna, driver of the day, starting P14, made his way up to P5. Great result for Amaguna there. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to tune in next Tuesday. Tuesday today? It's Tuesday today. Next Tuesday for round 11 at, what track is it, James? Is it Hungary?
I ain't got a clue.
Hungary, I'm not
so.
too sure. But yeah, make sure you tune in next Tuesday, 8 o'clock again. Hopefully Tom will be able to have his POV and he'll be able to have different angles of the race as well. But yeah, tune in next Tuesday. Thank you ever so much for watching.